What's up guys, Luke here with Tailored Insurance. Today I'm going to be making a video about certificates of insurance and going over all the different coverages because I've realized that a lot of people in the industry have no idea what they're actually covered for. So let's get started. Alright, so here's your standard certificate of insurance. Up here on the left hand side is your producer information, which is the insurance agency that you're with. And then right here, insured, that's your trucking company. It has your information right here. And then on the right hand side here, you see different insurance companies. And so they're labeled as Insurer A, Insurer B, Insurer C. The reason why is because over here on this side, you'll see these letters. So it's letting you know which insurance company is insuring which line of business. Alright, so the first type of coverage on your certificate is your commercial general liability. So a lot of people get this confused with your auto liability. So please do not get that confused. I'm going to try to make this as clean, as simple as possible so that it makes sense. So your general liability covers you when you're not in the vehicle. It covers you whenever you are, say that you're at a location picking up a load and you exit the vehicle. You're now inside that location, you're walking through the location, through the warehouse, and you knock over a whole pallet of products and those products are damaged. You'd be liable on behalf of your company for those products. So that would fall under your general liability. Another example would be, say that you have a location, and at your location you had a customer come to the location, they got hurt on your property. Well, if they say they went to sue you or you were liable for their injuries, then that would fall under a general liability claim. So that's the difference in the commercial general liability versus your auto liability. Your auto liability covers you when you're inside the vehicle, which is going to be most of the time with your trucking company. So on the general liability, I'm not going to get too far into it, but this is just standard coverages right here. It's $1 million per occurrence with a $2 million aggregate. So that's pretty standard across the board. It's what most people have, but that's what that covers you for. Alright, the second line of business on your certificate is your commercial auto liability, and that's probably the most important coverage when it comes to trucking because that's what activates your authority and what gets reported to the FMCSA. So right here we have a $1 million limit. That's pretty standard. That's what most people are required to have. And so what that covers you for is whenever you're at fault when operating the vehicle. So if you strike someone else's vehicle or a building or anything like that, it covers you for property damage and bodily injury. So anything that you are liable for or one of your drivers is liable for, as long as correctly insured on the policy, it covers you while operating that vehicle for any type of liability, whether it's bodily injury or property damage, and that's up to $1 million. Alright, your third line of business on the certificate is umbrella or excess liability. So this policy here, some truckers may have it, some may not, but this covers you in excess of your auto liability and commercial general liability policies. So if these policies are completely exhausted, if their limits are completely maxed out for a certain claim, then this comes into place. This will then kick in and you'll have up to this coverage limit for that situation. Alright, your fourth coverage on here is workers' comp. So again, some of you may have it, some of you may be required to have it, some may not. So that is the fourth coverage here. And then on the right hand side, it shows your limits. $1 million is pretty standard for each one of these for each accident or kind of like each occurrence. Disease for each employee, and then the policy limit for disease is also $1 million. So it's pretty standard limits for workers' comp, but that'll be right here on your certificate. Alright, next on your certificate you're going to have motor truck cargo, and most truckers are going to have that. Standard limits would be $100,000 with a $1,000 deductible. That's $100,000 for the commodities that you're hauling, and then a $1,000 deductible if you have a claim. Alright, next is your cargo coverage. Most truckers are going to have this coverage, and these are just industry standard limits. It's $100,000 with a $1,000 deductible, so you have up to $100,000 for the commodities that you're hauling. Some may need more, some may need less or none at all, but this is industry standard. Alright, so the last coverage that we have listed here is physical damage coverage. Now, you may or may not have this listed on your certificate. The only time it's really needed is if a bank or a leasing company needs to verify proof of insurance for a unit of yours or a piece of equipment that you're either leasing or you have financed. So they'll want to see that you have comp and collision on that vehicle, that it's fully covered. So we would list out the physical damage limit here, and then we'd also disclose down here the year, make, model, and VIN number of the vehicle, and then also list the value as well that it's being insured at. But right here is your physical damage coverage. Alright guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'm going to leave my contact information in the description below, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But until next time, thanks for watching.